guys, it's Jenny. Welcome back to the Bookworms Buddy. I'm here to do another tag, and I'm all festive again because it is a wintry tag. This is a Winter is Coming book tag, and this is an original tag by Katherine Barka, and she tagged me in it back in November, and I, in all honesty, completely forgot about this tag. So anyway, I'll link to Katherine's channel in the description box below so you guys can go check her out. She could really use some more subscribers, and she has a lot of great videos, so go check her out. There are 9 questions to this. Not actually questions, it's kind of one of those corresponding things. So let's get started. Number 1, snow. It is beautiful when it first falls, but then it starts to melt. A book or book series that you loved at the beginning, but then in the middle of it, you realize you don't like it any longer. And I have mentioned this so many times, and that would be the Anita Blake series. This is the last book we've got in the series left. We have taken them all back to our used bookstore. I did not finish the books. I probably got to like book 6, maybe 7-ish, around there. My husband, however, read the whole series up until whenever we read it. There's probably still more coming out, which is kind of ridiculous, but I think she just took this in the wrong direction for me anyway. It started out, Anita Blake was a badass, she was a necromancer, and I really liked that. So the first few books were great, and then it just kind of, yeah, went south. A lot of people are still reading this and they still love it. It's just not for me. My husband actually thought it was just okay himself. He read further than I did, so yeah. Number 2, Snowflake. Something beautiful and always different. Choose a book that stands out, that is different from all the other books you've read. And I'm going to say, even though I didn't care for the book, I'm going to say House of Leaves. This was a very unique book. I did not keep the book because I did not enjoy the book. There's a lot of different elements to this book. There's a lot of, in its uniqueness alone, made me actually pick the book up. Because there's like pages with just a couple words on it. There's just different fonts. There's different, you know, you had to read this, then you had to go back to read this, and it was just exhausting, really. But it was very different, very unique, very original in its own right. So, like I said in a previous video, had it not been for the differences like that, I probably never would have finished the book. I did finish the book, but it was exhausting. So keep that in mind when you pick it up. Okay, number 3 is Snowman. It is always fun to make one with your family. Choose a book that a whole family could read. And I actually chose 2 for this. The first one we got here is the Septimus Heap series. This is magic. This is the very first book. Like I said before, this is Harry Potter-ish, but it doesn't quite get up to that level. Harry Potter-ish goes more toward young adult, where this one stays more middle grade. But it really was an enjoyable series. There's 7 books in the series, and it starts with magic. The other one I chose was the Maximum Ride series, The Angel Experiment. This is by James Patterson, and it really is a good little young adult, I guess you could say middle grade as well, series. So yeah, this was very enjoyable. I did not finish this one yet. I believe there's like 7 books to this too, and I'm up to Angel, I believe, but it's been a while, so I'm going to have to start back from the beginning. So there's that. The next one, number 4, is Christmas. Choose a book that is full of happiness that makes you warm inside after reading it. And I chose 3 books for this. What can I say? Of course, I'm going to say The Book Thief, because this is very heart-melting. This book right here, it's got so many elements. There's historical, and there's a little romance, and lots of friendship, and love, and trust, and all those good things that make a good book. So there's the first one I chose. The next one I chose was Sundays at Tiffany's. Love this story. A little girl, she's pretty lonely. She only gets 1 day a week with her mother, because her mother's always busy doing stuff, and they take that 1 day and go to Tiffany's. This little girl has an imaginary friend, and he is an adult. People kind of look down on that a little bit, some of the people that I've read their reviews, which I consider him more a guardian angel. His name is Michael, and then it goes forward into her life, and she's still a lonely young adult, and she meets a man named Michael, and it turns out that that is her imaginary friend from her childhood, and the story is just really touching and heartfelt. So check that out. And the last one I chose was Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. Again, a nice touch of history in this book. Very heart-wrenching at times. The mother, she doesn't really show outward love to her two daughters. She relives her life to her children through a fairy tale that she never wants to finish or continue with, until one day her daughters make her, when they are older, make her finish the fairy tale. And the fairy tale was her life back in Germany. So really good. If you guys get a chance to read this one, you really should. I think I only rate this like a 3.5. Every time I talk about it, I think I'm going to raise it up to a 4-star because the history elements and stuff in this book are great. Okay, number 5, Santa Claus. He brings wonderful presents. Choose a book that you'd like to get for Christmas. If you watched my original tag that I did myself, it is Revival and Mr. Mercedes, and I would love to have both of these books for Christmas. They're going to be expensive books, so I'm expecting that at least $25 to $30 maybe. I've not actually priced them yet. Those are the two books that I would really like for Christmas. Number 6, snowballing. It can be painful to be hit by a snowball. Choose a book that hurt, that made you feel some strong emotion like sadness or anger. Now, I could sit here and tell you all the books that I have by Ellen Hopkins, but I've talked a lot about those books. So instead of talking about Ellen Hopkins books, which are very emotional and very realistic, because that's just her writing style, instead I chose Please Stop Laughing at Me. This is by Jodi Blanco. It's a true story. It's on bullying. And bullying is so out of hand in the country today that people just need to speak up, you know, and stop this insanity of bullying. Kids end up very hurt, dying, killing themselves because of it. And this, she tells the story very well. There were times I wanted to reach into the book and just yank the people out of it and just slap some education into them and let them know, you know, this is what's going on. This is how you hurt people. So yeah, Please Stop Laughing at Me by Jodi Blanco. If you've not read this book, it's actually a really good story. Okay, then number 7, Sledding. We all loved it when we were younger. Choose a book that you loved when you were a child. You guys probably know what I'm going to say for this one as well. Black Beauty was my favorite childhood book. This is not the original book, obviously. This is the Barnes & Noble Classic Edition. This is by Anne Sewell. And the one I've got is one that I read. I no longer have. I don't know what ever happened to them. It came in a volume of books. There was a whole bunch of different books. Tom Sawyer and Black Beauty. And, I mean, there was just a lot of them. And they were in this kind of like a reddish burgundy color bound book. And I believe they had gold tipped pages. And I would have to do some research and find that set because I would love to have that set back. Anyway, I found this one at a used bookstore. I didn't have to pay full price for it. And it's beautiful. Look at this. I've not reread it yet, but I need to reread it because this is one book that stands out of my mind as a childhood treasure. Next one, number 8. Choose it is Frostbite. Choose a book that you were really disappointed in. Again, easy choice, which was Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This book had a lot of promise. There was a lot of hype about this book. I did love the mystery in that aspect of the book. It was a little cliche, and the ending just did not satisfy me at all. I hated the ending of this book. It was just, yeah, the ending was just not satisfying. So, yeah, Gone Girl. And the last one, Reindeer, something that is dear to us. Choose a book of great sentimental value to you. And I am going to say The Unabridged Jack London. Not this particular book, because this is not the original one, but it's sentimental to me because my mom, like I've said a million times, she always loved a lot of mystery. But she also loved stories about wolves. And I never understood what the infatuation was with wolves, but she read a ton of them. And most of them were Jack London's, like Call of the Wild. But the one that stands out to me the most is White Fang. I think White Fang was the one that was told through the eyes of the wolf. And I'm not quite sure why she liked it, because it was really harsh. It was a harsh look at the realism of wolves' lives. And Jack London does not spare the reader. He doesn't spare the reader in really any of his books. I think I've read Call of the Wild and White Fang. I'm sure there's probably a few other ones, but my mom loved them, and I found this book at a used bookstore, and I picked it up in her memory because she would probably have loved to have the whole bind-up of his books, because it is a huge, huge book, and I don't even think it's all of his. I don't know, it could be all of his stories. I'm not for sure on that, but she would have loved this, so that's why that's sentimental to me. And that's it, guys. That is the end of the tag. I am going to tag 4 people. I'm tagging Yes Miss Jane, Harriet Rose, Rocket Reads, and Something Like Lydia. So you 4, if you do this tag, please let me know so I can come watch your videos. And also, anybody who has not done this tag, which I don't think this tag has really gotten out there much yet, so spread it around, guys, and do the tag if you are watching and you would like to do the tag. Like I said, I will link to Katherine in the description box below. Go check out her channel and her tag video. Spread the love, guys. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.